Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis. It is September 2nd, and Xur has arrived. He is on the EDZ up here in his little perch on Winding Cove, so let's see what he's got. Alright, for the exotic weapon, we've got the Tractor Cannon. You should just buy this, because if you don't own it, you should. Basically, you've heard of booping people. This is how you do it. Weapon emits a powerful impulse that pushes enemies away, suppresses their abilities, and makes them more vulnerable to all incoming damage. If you have this weapon, and you have heavy weapon in, say, PvP, you can literally suppress a super, and then kill them with this thing. It's actually pretty fun. Damaging an opponent temporarily increases speed and handling as well. Just fun to use. If you don't own it, please buy it. It's just too much fun. For the hunters, we've got the Dragon's Shadow. Dodging reloads all weapons and increases both movement and weapon handling for speeds for a brief time. So honestly, if you're a hunter, you like some mobility, you've got mobility and resilience, discipline and strength. It is only a total of 60, but you got a decent amount of mobility on this one. So if you don't own this one and you want to experiment with it, you got a decent amount of shards. You could buy it, see if it's something you like using, and then see if you want to farm for a better one. But still, decent exotic for hunters. The dodge, reload, and increased, movement and weapon handling definitely makes you very nimble and also gets your weapons right back in action depending on what you're using. So try it out, see if you like it. Titans, we've got the Lion Rampant, provides additional aerial maneuverability and enables accurate hip fire while you're in the air during lift, provides a large benefit to airborne effectiveness stat to all weapons while hip firing. If you want to be airborne as a Titan, this is kind of the way you do it, but also if you ever aren't the biggest fan of jumping puzzles, you're struggling with the, ship puzzle in King's Fall, buy these. Every Titan should own a pair of these. These actually have decent stats because they got some resilience, a little bit of mobility. I would just probably slap literally a mobility mod on here. Just leave it there because the mobility will help your jumping. But generally, these are just going to make you glide farther, have more effectiveness out of your jumps. And if you love the airborne effectiveness part, you can see if you like that as well. But mostly people use these to get through jumps that they don't love doing because you can glide farther than you normally would. So every Titan should own a pair. If you don't, buy them. Alright, the Warlocks get the best total stat roll, even though it is basically as mediocre as it kind of gets. But you have Contraval's Hold, which is something Void Warlocks should consider using. Resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade. Charge Void Grenades, return grenade energy on hit. As you guys get the big charged Void Grenades, this is definitely one to consider using. It's got some discipline, it's got 12, you got some resilience, some mobility, everything's pretty damn near even. So it's a well-rounded, but jack of all trades, master of none kind of situation, but it doesn't suck in discipline, and this is grenade related. And, if you've got 8 in recovery, I'd love to see that higher for a Warlock, but still, if you want to see if you like these, there are definitely better spiky rolls you could get a little higher in the stat total, but if you like Void Grenades and you haven't used these before, definitely one to consider messing around with, because charge grenades, getting them back, you can do a lot of work with Void Grenades with these. For exotic weapons, we've got Hawk Moon with snapshot sights, you've got Arrowhead Break for recoil and handling, and then greatly increased handling with some decreased stability. Not sure this is really the best option. And then for Dead Man's Tale, you've got Moving Target, which is good for kind of ADS, but then half the people want to use this thing probably non-ADS, so it's kind of a toss-up. You've got some stability and recoil control, and then some range and range here, so it's not a bad roll. Moving Target could be good if you're trying to go ADS with this one. Depends on your playstyle with the weapon itself. Has potential, though. I think this roll isn't bad. I just don't know if it's like the Elite God roll, per se. For our legendary weapons, nothing really that exciting, but a couple you might want to look at. You've got a Dynamic Sway Reduction Adrenaline Junkie. This one right here doesn't do as much for me between Appended Mag and Steady Rounds. I just think there are better. Polygonal Rifling is not bad, so you're pretty damn close to have a laser beam with those two active. It's not a bad auto rifle, they're just better versions of it. Zen Moment Head Seeker, they did change the perk of Zen Moment to say causing damage with this weapon reduces recoil over time. But again, not great magazine perks. Head Seeker, not really doing that much, especially on a high impact frame. Triple tap on a sidearm when you're just trying to mostly spam shots. Yeah, headshots are good, but you're not really too worried about, getting a couple extra bullets generally. Ensemble and Trench Barrel. Trench Barrel can be fun for a shotgun, but Ensemble kind of hit or miss if you're near anyone. Pulse Monitor and Quick Draw. Pulse Monitor on a sniper, not a situation you probably want to be in because you're probably about to die. The one that I did want to point out, though, is this one. If you don't have a good Void heavy machine gun, there's some options out there, but I've got one from a raid that I like and stuff like that. This is pretty good. You've got a reload masterwork, which, take it or leave it, but you've got flared magwell for increased reload speed and stability and range. You've got field prep, so if you, occasionally think about crouching, you've got faster reload, stow, and ready, but also the fact that you've got bigger ammo reserves always helps for a heavy machine gun, especially in PvE. They're doing pretty well now. And you've got Adrenaline Junkie, so you can start stacking damage or chunk a grenade and get that 5 stack straight away. Not anything to sneeze at here, and if you don't have a great Void machine gun, this is a good solid PvE option I would recommend probably putting in your vault or maybe experimenting with. 900s are kind of growing on me a little bit, but field prep is definitely helpful for that extra ammo, so consider this one if you're lacking in the Void heavy machine gun category. Finally, unfortunately, a Genesis Thresh rocket launcher. I don't know if there could be much worse looking one than that, so you can skip over that real quick. As for the armor, you do have the Opulent set, just so you guys can see it. This is kind of the set that looks like it was from Season of the Opulence. So you got the gold and jeweled stuff. If you guys haven't heard, a lot of people are wearing gold right now. I keep moving my arm around, but one thing I would recommend looking into is basically it's to help with pediatric cancer. So if you've got a gold shader that you can put on in any way, one of the ones like Gold Leaf is actually a really popular one, if I can find it. But anything that's going to make you shiny and gold, I would try and throw that shader on, just so everybody in game kind of sees it, share the word. It is for pediatric cancer. Just like everybody supporting the cause by putting a shader on. Pretty simple, just not a bad way to do it. But as for armor, and this set will actually look pretty good while you do it. 63 here is not bad. Decent recovery, some resilience, high discipline and intellect is not a terrible 63, but then we kind of go down there from there. 2 resilience, and then you got some resilience, but it's only a 61. So Titans, okay gauntlets, but not really anything else that great. For the Warlock, we've got mobility up to 14, 8 recovery gauntlets. Not a bad 62 roll, little high on the mobility for me, but again, that's always a preference on where you prefer. 61, again, decent discipline, but pretty mid-level, nothing like must-buy. 64 with 2 resilience, 6 recovery, and 24 mobility. If you have a mobility build going, sure. Otherwise, not as beneficial for the main thing that you're looking for Warlock, kind of missing the recovery. And then finally, you've got 10 recovery, 16 mobility. Again, this seems to be a mobility day, but it is a total of 66, high spike in intellect. Depends on, again, what you're building around. I don't know if I would take advantage of these as much, but I know some builds probably could use these Warlocks. Armor, generally, though, 66 not bad, but they're all pretty high in mobility for me. Again, that's a personal preference, though. All right, Hunters. These are mostly, you got a 56 pass, a 60 with some mobility, but really high recovery and intellect. Maybe you're trying to get a spiky build, but it's still only 60. The 63, if you're looking for a resilience build, getting more into resilience, a little less mobility, got some decent discipline, intellect, and strength, but the high resilience, if you need to help that stat, maybe this piece can do that for you. It is lacking mobility, though, so I know that hurts a hunter, so that's probably a toss-up. And then again, a 59, so nothing fantastic. All in all, I would say if you don't own any of these exotics, you should own the Lion Rampants as a Titan. Hunter and Warlock, they're ones to buy and then see if you like the functionality, like using them in a build, and then I would still probably farm for a better version, personally. Everyone should own Tractor Cannon, and then not a bad heavy machine gun. So all in all, kind of a meh week for Xur, but still I always like to fill you guys in of everything that's here. You guys can check out any of my other videos, especially my Season of Plunder guide, if you have any questions of how anything works. Hopefully that will help you guys out. But other than that, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you got questions about anything, or just to say hello. If you want to find me on Twitter or Twitch, it's Ebontis, right here on YouTube. If you'll hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, nice way to support the channel and help my videos make it to you. If you're a YouTube member or a Patreon sub, thank you for the extra support. You guys are all awesome. See you soon.